Hi, my name is Kendall Torres, and I'm going to be doing my presentation on the role of non-governmental organizations in disasters. Non-governmental organizations are defined as being nonprofit. In fact, in the United States, they're often referred to as nonprofit organizations. They're a voluntary group of citizens brought together with a common interest who want to provide services. Some of these interests may be political, or they may be humanitarian or environmental, and they work to achieve their goals or to promote their interest. Non-governmental organizations are not affiliated with governments of their host countries, the countries that they're in. They do work with them to help achieve certain goals. Code of Conduct. In 1994, the International Federation for the Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement and the International Committee of the Red Cross came together and made this voluntary code of conduct for non-governmental organizations' response in disasters and for humanitarian aid. The code sets standards of behavior such as independence, effectiveness, and impact in the actions of the organizations. Adherence to the code is voluntary. Those who participate don't sign a document or anything. They just strive to follow the code. And the code is also interpreted based on local, in certain situations based on local law, and also international humanitarian law. Principles of the code is that the main one is that humanitarian imperative comes first. That aid is given to everyone. It's a right for all citizens of all countries, and they're calculated based on need. Aid is not used to further a particular political or religious standpoint. Even though many of these organizations do have religious views, they don't impose those on the people, and receiving aid is not contingent on accepting said political beliefs or religious affiliation. These organizations also work to not be instruments of government foreign policy by providing information or knowledge that would help in any other way. They also try to respect culture and custom of the local areas in which they're working. These organizations follow the code, and they attempt to build disaster response on local capacities by working within the community and buying locally and using local employees. They try to involve the program beneficiaries in the process because they found that that's more effective. The relief is more effective and the rehabilitation lasts much longer. They also work on mitigation strategies to reduce future vulnerabilities in those areas. They hold themselves accountable to those that they provide resources to and those that provide resources to them as well. And they always want to portray disaster victims as dignified humans. Why do we need non-governmental organizations in disaster response? Many times governments are overwhelmed by disasters, especially if it's a large one that affects many areas, and so NGOs step in to fill those gaps. They're often operational partners. Many UN programs need on-the-ground partners and other ways to distribute their teachings and their aid. A lot of them have unique functions that are not necessarily available by the government, or as well the government's always stretched. They're based on volunteers, which is another way that disaster relief helps, because if you have to pay everyone, it gets really expensive. And specialized priorities, and that they work for certain areas. Some do food, some house people. Others, they just have lots of different areas that they work for, and that, they can help the government to work in those areas. Common NGOs. I just put the one because the one that always came across my readings, the American Red Cross, or the International Federation, or International Committee of the Red Cross, which is the largest NGO in the world, I believe. They provide a lot of assistance in disasters and training to local communities. And the symbol of the Red Cross on the white background has actually become an international symbol for medical or aid. Picture of my face to help with the assignment criteria, and those are my dogs. You're welcome. Here's my references and works that I used to make my presentation. Thanks for watching.